Hey folks, my guest today is Paroon. He's the co-founder of Passageways, now called Onboard, and he leads its business strategy as CEO. He serves on the board of Onboard, big brother sister of Greater Lafayette Indiana University from Simon Cancer Center and TechPoint. He was a founding member of YouWeCan.org and is an angel investor in several technology companies. Today, Onboard powers over 12,000 boards and committees across North America, EMEA, and APAC. Paroon, you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
So how does this work? How do you automatically build board decks?
The idea here is take an analog process of, collecting all the different sections that show up on the agenda and automate that in a way that makes, assimilating that information easier. So we provide a platform that allows more collaborative board information building, as well as provide an environment to get the boards to engage in a more meaningful way. We feel board meetings are transitioning from analog to digital. In fact, through COVID, also to virtual. So all of that provides a great opportunity for us to look at the entire process and streamline everything for the best results for the boards.
Mm-hmm. And what do companies pay you for this, to use this for their boards on average per month?
So, on the lower end, it's about $5K a year. Some larger clients are, of course, $50,000 to $100,000 a year, several six-figure clients as well.
What is the customer that pays you the most? Don't name them, but what do they pay you? What's your highest ACV?
170,000. You can imagine big hospital systems, university systems, where there are lots of different boards.
And what enables you to drive up that price point? Do you upsell based off number of seats, number of people on the board, or is it feature upgrades or something else?
Yeah, so it's usually the number of entities. So think of a big, large corporation, lots of subsidiaries, lots of acquisitions that they've done, that entire governance structure, and providing oversight of that. We have built a platform which allows you multi-board access, and that's how we drive up the cost. It's number of users. And then there are suites. So for every board, you may need different set of software packages as well.
And then what is in the software? I mean, did you have to basically rebuild Zoom from scratch, the whole video infrastructure? Or are you licensing? Okay, yeah. So what's the software?
I'm glad you asked that question. So the general idea is, board meetings are a legal record. They can always end up in discovery. So the goal here is to give you a chance to build the board information really well, and use as much of the plumbing that the internet provides as possible. So single sign-on using Okta or one login, integration with Zoom, integration with all the different document management systems and video chats and all of that. That's all built in. But our goal is to give you a secure way to provide information distribution to your boards and all the underlying committees as well. By the way, there's a big committee structure often that comes with the board, and then running the board meeting in a way that the platform stays in the background. You're discussing what's important, what's relevant to your board meeting, and then also thinking about how you can get very smart about it. So analyzing the engagement pattern. If we publish your board book 5 days in advance, this is how much time people took to study that. What if you change that to 7 days, looking at that analytics? And then all the other pieces that come along with, board interactions. So board assessments, DNO questionnaires that have to be filed by, public companies, any action, minutes and voting, all of those different pieces, they all stay in one purpose-built application, which is not just secure, also limits your liability in case there's ever a lawsuit that's filed. It's all in one contained system.
Okay, the software is clear to me. I understand why people pay for this now. How many customers do you have paying?
We have about 2,500 paying customers on the Onboard platform. We also just acquired a company by the name of eScribe. They're in the public sector meeting space. So think of counties and cities and government organizations where there are a lot of open meeting laws. They are focused. They're based out of Toronto. Focused on Canada and US for the moment, but they also have customers in Australia and New Zealand as well.
Mm-hmm. Was there cash involved in that deal, or was it mainly stock?
That was a cash deal as well.
Oh, wow. How did you decide what the price was for that? Was it just a multiple on revenue or something else?
Yeah, so we just took funding, Nathan. So GMI invested in Passageways. There was a valuation on the table. We'd done the due diligence on the space. This looked like another company which is relatively similar to us, and high growth. So similar multiples that apply to our deal, I guess.
What was that? Can you give me a range? You're saying like 5x ARR, 10x ARR, or something else?
Oh, 15 to 20 ARR, yeah.
15 to 20x multiple. Okay, and you just mentioned you raised capital to help fund this deal. When did you raise capital last?
About 2 months ago. So
how much did you raise?
We raised 100 mil.
100 million from GMI?
From GMI, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, and we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit because I want to get a bit of the backstory. When did you guys launch?
So we launched about 9 years ago, onboard product, and currently we are adding about 100 or so customers between onboard and eScribe every month. So there's a lot of recency to our momentum. 2,500 customers, but a good 1,500 of them have actually been added in the last 18 months, and we are coming in. We are still picking up momentum.
Yeah. Paroon, can I do that math? Can I take 2,500 customers times that $5,000 ACV? I mean, you guys are doing about north of $1 million a month now, correct?
Our ACV, across, if you look at everything, is closer to 10.
I see. So you're doing more than 2 million a month in revenue.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. When can you break 3 million a month? Will that happen this year in revenue? So $36 million run rate.
With some luck, it'll probably happen, Q4, Q1. Of course, there's luck involved in all of this. Certainly, the goal here is to, we are the highest ranked application in Apple's App Store, G2 Crowd, Capterra, every single online review, the best board software that's available in the market, up against some legacy providers. So I don't see any reason why this will slow down anytime soon.
And if you're at about 2 million a month right now in revenue, where were you a year ago so we can calculate growth?
Oh, we are north of 50% growth for now 4 years in a row. Of course, it was more than 100% growth 4 years ago, but we continue to stay north of 50%, and the goal here is to continue to stay at that pace for the next 3-5 years.
You remember what year you passed $1 million run rate?
Oh, that was a while ago. This is a tale of two products, but for onboard may have been, I would say 2015.
Yep. Okay.
16.
Makes a lot of sense there. So obviously nice growth. Let's try and unpack this growth for a second. Is there a sales model? How many sales reps do you guys have?
So we have, I'm going to talk just about onboard. That's the most relevant piece. Between AEs and SDRs, about 35, 40 people.
How many carry a quota?
15 or so.
And how do you set that up? A lot of founders struggle with this. What's the quota to on target earnings ratio?
So $500,000 is a good way to think about it. We go by SaaS industry standards, but people who are selling in the enterprise segment of the market, obviously they carry, different quotas than people who are more on the transactional side, the SMB side.
Mm-hmm. When you say 500,000, that's the quota target for, you'd say, as a good average?
That's the average quota that I have in mind. And, again, it varies by individual and their experiences and the sectors that they serve.
And with this sales motion, would you credit most of your growth to this, or is there something else we're missing here?
No, I think this is great. Actually, this has been a big part of the story. There's some partnerships, go-to-market partnerships. We've tied up with, vertical partnerships. These are people who are well-known. There's some exclusives involved here. ICBA, which is Independent Community Bankers of America. AGB, which is, the organization that works with universities, and so on. There are several such partnerships. But we also have on the lower end of the market, there's a trial-led, product-led sales motion, which is sort of, a self-serve aspect, which is sort of, the sub $5,000 deals.
How many new trials per month do you see happening right now?
About 150.
And then you convert about 50 of those into paid. Is that right?
We are right around the 50 to 60 range. But, a lot of those trials are qualified for there's a, demo and all of that lines up later. So pure self-serve is probably a lower number. So it's an aided trial is what we do.
Now, one of the things, Paroon, I love that you've done is you're not just chasing like more money. Like you see these people raising every 12 months. They're getting diluted like crazy, and then they have to exit to Vista at like a silly low valuation because they lost all their leverage. You only raised, I think, before this 100 million, 5 million in 2018. Is that right?
That's right. So been very, careful about this just because we wanted to prove product market fit and repeatability, coming off of last year where we had good 600 plus sales in a single year. This was a great time for us to go raise a serious round and really build for the future.
And and when you raised 5 million, what valuation was that at in 2018?
That was at 30 mil. So this is we've done quite well in the last 3 years.
Are you past a $500 million valuation at this point with the 100 million?
Not yet, but we are working towards it. I think that's the goal by the end of next year. Maybe next 18-month goal would be $500 million mark.
You're a smart guy. You're not going to give up $100 million worth of control without taking some sort of secondary. How much of the 100 million was secondary to you or other early employees or investors?
There was some involved. That wasn't the focus. There was some acquisition capital, and there's some liquidity. I've been doing this for a while, but earlier investors. But most of it is actually for building the business.
Okay, got it. I mean, can we quantify that? Was it's more than 80 million going onto the balance sheet of the business, and less than 20 million?
It was less than that, but those details are not been shared. Yeah.
Okay, it's valuable information though. A lot of people don't realize as a founder, when you hustle like you've done, this is a great way to create liquidity, especially if you're doing like a big private equity round. So nice job there. Hey, we're out of time. This is a great story. We want to keep following you. Let's wrap up with the famous five. Number one, favorite business book.
Favorite business book, Good to Great is pretty awesome.
Number two, CEO you're following or studying.
I'm an Elon Musk fan all the way. Not everything he does, I follow though.
All right, number three, favorite online tool for building your business besides your own?
Favorite online tool? I'm big on Loom these days.
Loom. Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get, Paroon?
Going by the dark circles that you can see right here, maybe 6 is a good night.
All right, and situation, married, single, kids?
Married for the last 20 years. Met my wife in my engineering days.
How many kiddos? Any kids?
One kid, 4-year-old. So we got a late start to it.
Wow. Okay. One kid. And how old are you?
So I'm 46.
46. Take us home. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
I wish I'd, lots of things. So that threw me off there. I wish I knew the value of building the organization with culture as the central point.
Guys, there you have it. Onboardmeeting.com. They go as onboard meetings, plural.com. They just passed, call it $2 million a month in revenue. That's up from 1.2 million a month about a year ago. So over 50% growth in the past several months. They passed that $1 million run rate way back in 2015. And he's done this in a capital efficient manner. Just $5 million raised prior to their most recent $100 million round, flirting with the $500 million valuation. We'll see what happens over the next couple years. Paroon, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you, Nathan.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.